America's military. It's not COVID or cancer, it's suicide. For 5 years in a row, the suicide rate among our servicemen and women has gone up, and it's affecting everyone from current troops to veterans and their families. CBN National Security Correspondent Eric Phillips has the story.
Power through the battle. It's a mantra of physical military training. But what about the mind? I spoke with one woman who saw this gap firsthand when her husband took his own life at the height of his military career. And I spoke with those who believe they have some answers. Major John Ruaco served as a Marine Corps pilot for 15 years. A really good one, according to his wife, Kim. And the accolades from her don't stop there.
My husband was a really great dad and husband and a superior Marine and helicopter pilot, but he battled, depression and post-traumatic stress and unresolved trauma and grief.
A battle he lost in 2005.
I had, at the time, 2 boys. They were 8 and 10 years old. So really was thrown into this world of surviving a military suicide loss.
A social worker by profession, Kim often sensed subtle changes in her husband's behavior during phone calls.
I asked him directly if he was thinking about suicide, if he was feeling so badly that he was thinking about suicide, and he said, "I would never do that to you and the boys." And then he killed himself a couple hours later.
John became part of a growing statistic of active military and veterans who have died by suicide. The latest Pentagon research shows increases over the last 5 years, with more than 500 military suicides in 2018 alone. A Veterans Administration report indicates some 6,000 veteran suicides each year between 2005 and 2017.
Men slightly more likely to die by suicide, and women veterans twice as likely.
Dr. Heather Kelly is Director of Military and Veterans Health Policy at the American Psychological Association.
It's a complicated problem and a lot of different reasons for different people. About half of those military service members who die by suicide have never deployed, much less seen combat. So they're subject to life stress that has nothing to do with their service, just like the rest of us.
You don't know what the center of your back is.
The culture continues to be the biggest battle in suicide prevention within the military.
But there is help. After her husband's death, Ruaco started the Assistance Program for Survivors, or TAPS.
When there is a suicide, they're immediately connected to us. And so we're able to then reach out to those survivors, assess their needs, stabilize them with trauma, with mental health issues, with suicide risk, and then help them with suicide-specific issues like, how do you tell your children?
On the prevention side, the American Bible Society has rolled out the God Understands campaign to help service members who are battling depression and other mental health challenges. It consists of testimonies from people like Brian Flannery, who attempted suicide while in the Army.
Spoiler alert, I failed. Almost every day, at the start of my day, I remember sitting in that empty barracks room, and I let myself feel the emotions again. The hopelessness, the pain, the anguish. And then I look around in my life today, right? And I see how God truly, He didn't put a Band-Aid on it, but He truly restored my soul.
So that emphasis behind the God Understands is for people to listen to other stories, to realize that they're not the only one that's feeling like they failed. They're not the only one that ever walked this journey by themselves.
Grosclose says social distancing only magnifies feelings of isolation, and that could cause the already growing suicide number among service members to spike. He says God Understands provides a unique human and divine connection. Is this what we need to stave off that trend?
The way of ending veteran suicide is with Jesus.
Experts say faith is what's called a protective factor when it comes to suicide. In other words, those who identify with faith, no matter what faith it is, are at a lower risk of dying by suicide. Eric Phillips, CBN News.
If you're in the military, if you're a veteran, and you're having thoughts like this, please get help.